Did you know that some of the countries Filipinos love to visit most could soon slam their doors shut? Not in 10 years, not in 5 years. And it's not random. These governments are looking at specific patterns, overstays, illegal work, even political tensions, and they're ready to change the rules. That means the trips you've been dreaming of could become harder, maybe even impossible. Is your favorite country on this list? Stay with me because number 1 could take away the easiest doorway Filipinos have into Europe. Number 7, South Africa. And here's where things start to sting for Filipino travelers. South Africa, the land of breathtaking safaris, Table Mountain, and vibrant cities could soon close its doors to visitors from the Philippines. Why the sudden change? South African immigration officials say the numbers don't lie. In the past 5 years, overstays by Filipino tourists have jumped by more than 50%. Authorities have caught travelers working on tourist visas, some using fake documents, and others simply refusing to leave after their stay expired. Even small numbers like these raise big security concerns in a country that's already tightening border controls. Filipino travelers may soon need to apply for a visa weeks before departure. Expect forms, proof of funds, hotel bookings, return flights, and maybe even a face-to-face interview at the South African embassy. That easy, spontaneous safari trip. It could now take months of planning. For adventure seekers dreaming of Cape Town or Kruger National Park, this is a major setback. Tour operators say it could drive down Filipino tourist numbers and make trips far more expensive. But South African officials insist it's necessary to protect the integrity of their borders, and they stress this is not a ban on Filipinos, just a shift to stricter screening. Some tourism experts warn that these changes will hurt local businesses that depend on foreign visitors. Critics also argue that the government is punishing all travelers for the mistakes of a few. But supporters say the visa requirement is overdue, pointing out that many other countries already enforce similar rules. So here's the question. Will the magic of South Africa's wildlife and culture still be worth the red tape? Or will Filipino travelers cross it off their bucket list entirely? And this is just the start. Because as we count down, the countries coming next are even closer to home and the visa changes could hit much harder. Wait until you see number 1. Number 6, India. Now we move to a country that has always felt open and welcoming to Filipinos. India, home to the Taj Mahal, vibrant festivals and centuries of history, has never asked for much. Short visits, no visa needed. But that policy could disappear in 2025. Indian immigration officials say the pattern is clear. Over the past 3 years, cases of Filipinos overstaying their welcome have risen sharply. Some are working without permits. Others are using India as a low-cost base for remote jobs while their tourist visa quietly runs out. Officials call it visa misuse, and they want it stopped. Filipinos may soon need to apply for a visa before even boarding a plane. That means filling out forms, showing return tickets, proof of accommodation, and bank statements. And don't be surprised if interviews become part of the process. The days of spontaneous budget trips to India could be over. For culture lovers, backpackers, or those chasing India's famous festivals, this is a major roadblock. Travel agencies warn it will make trips more expensive and less flexible. But Indian authorities argue it's about keeping their immigration system fair and stopping a trend they say is getting out of control. Critics inside India worry this move will hurt tourism revenue. They point out that Filipinos make up a growing share of visitors in key cultural hubs like Delhi, Agra, and Jaipur. On the other side, government supporters say India cannot afford to be a soft target for visa abuse. Will the colors, chaos, and charm of India still be worth it if it comes with months of planning? Or will Filipino travelers turn to other destinations in Asia instead? Number 5, Russia. This is where the conversation shifts from tourism to geopolitics. Russia, a land of vast landscapes, imperial cities, and deep history, has been surprisingly open to Filipino travelers. But in 2025, that could change. It's not just about immigration numbers. It's about global politics. With tensions rising between Russia and Western-aligned countries, Moscow has been quietly reviewing who gets easy access. And the Philippines, as a known ally of the United States and other Western powers, has landed on that list for review. The numbers tell part of the story. Russian authorities have reported an increase in long stays and visa rule violations by foreign tourists, including some Filipinos. But officials admit this policy shift is also about tightening control during uncertain political times. Filipinos may need to apply for a visa before arrival. No exceptions. That means submitting documents showing proof of funds, return flights, and possibly sitting for an interview at the Russian consulate. For many, the spontaneity of hopping on a flight to Moscow or exploring the Trans-Siberian Railway will be gone. For history lovers and adventure seekers, This will turn a dream trip into a bureaucratic challenge. Tour guides in Russia warn it could sharply reduce Filipino visitor numbers, hitting cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg hard, but Russian officials insist it's a matter of national security, not just tourism policy. Some Russian tourism experts say this is short-sighted and could cost the country millions in lost revenue. Critics in the Philippines worry it sends the wrong diplomatic signal, but Moscow supporters argue that in a time of geopolitical tension, protecting the border comes first, even if it means losing some tourists.
So, here's the question.
Will Russia's allure of history, culture, and raw beauty still draw Filipinos through the extra layers of red tape? Or will politics win over wanderlust? And you'll want to keep watching because the next countries on this list aren't just tightening rules. They're some of the Philippines' closest travel partners, and the impact could be far more personal. Wait until you hear about number 1.
Number 4, Israel.
A country that holds a special place for many Filipinos. Israel, a land of deep faith, sacred history, and unique work opportunities, has long welcomed Filipino travelers without a visa. But that open-door policy may be closing in 2025. It comes down to two main issues: overstays and illegal work. Israeli immigration officials say a growing number of Filipinos enter on tourist visas but never leave on time. Some take on caregiving or housekeeping jobs without permits, while others simply disappear into the underground job market. Officials warn this is putting pressure on Israel's immigration system. The numbers don't lie. In recent years, visa violations by Filipinos have climbed steadily, with some estimates suggesting a rise of more than 40% compared to 5 years ago. For a small country with strict border policies, that's a big jump. Filipino travelers could soon be required to secure a visa before flying to Tel Aviv. That means more paperwork, return flights, proof of funds, hotel bookings, and possibly an interview at the Israeli embassy. It could turn what used to be a quick trip into weeks or months of preparation. For religious pilgrims hoping to walk the streets of Jerusalem or visit Bethlehem, this is a heavy blow for Filipino workers already in Israel legally. It could make family visits far harder. Travel agents warned that costs will rise and trip planning will be much less flexible. Critics say these rules punish the many for the mistakes of a few. They argue that Filipinos have long contributed positively to Israel's economy and should not lose visa-free access over isolated abuses. Supporters counter that Israel's small size and security concerns make strict control essential and that no country should be exempt from immigration rules.
So, here's the question.
Will faith, history, and cultural ties be strong enough to pull Filipinos through the new visa hurdles, or will these changes quietly close the door on a cherished connection?
Number 3, Indonesia.
Now we arrive at a country that feels like a second home to many Filipinos. Indonesia, just a short flight away with Bali's beaches, Jakarta's buzz, and Sumatra's wild beauty, has always been an easy escape.
No visa, no stress.
But that could all change in 2025. Indonesian authorities say too many Filipino visitors are breaking the rules. Some overstay their 30-day allowance. Others come in on tourist visas but take jobs in hospitality, construction, or online work. And then there's the bigger issue: reports of illegal fishing activities in Indonesian waters involving Filipino crews. Jakarta sees this as both a border security problem and an economic threat. The numbers raise red flags. Local media reports say immigration violations by Filipinos have risen by more than 30% in the last 5 years. Fisheries officials have also intercepted multiple unauthorized fishing boats in disputed waters. Filipinos may soon need to apply for a visa before arrival. That means preparing documents like return tickets, hotel reservations, and proof of financial stability. What used to be a spontaneous weekend in Bali could now require weeks of paperwork. For vacationers, this kills the easy book today, fly tomorrow experience. For Filipino businesses that rely on Indonesian partners, it could slow down travel and raise costs. And for migrant workers, legal or not, the crackdown will make entry much harder. Some Indonesian tourism operators warn the rule will hurt both sides, reducing travel between two closely linked countries. Critics in the Philippines say it risks straining a long-standing friendship in ASEAN. But Indonesian officials insist the policy is about order and fairness, applying the same rules to all.
So, here's the question.
Will Filipinos still see Indonesia as their go-to tropical escape once it's wrapped in red tape? Or will they quietly swap Bali sunsets for beaches in countries that still welcome them vis-a-vis? And believe it or not, the next two countries on this list are even more personal. One of them is practically a next-door neighbor.
Number 2, Vietnam.
This one is personal for many Filipino travelers. Vietnam, close, affordable, and packed with unforgettable food and culture, has been one of the easiest getaways in Southeast Asia. Up to 21 days visa-free, No questions asked. But that deal may vanish in 2025. Why the sudden shift? Vietnamese immigration officials say too many Filipino visitors aren't playing by the rules. Some overstay their 3-week limit. Others enter as tourists but quickly start working in cafes, host, or online gigs without permits. It's become a pattern Hanoi says it can't ignore. The numbers point to trouble. Local reports suggest overstays by Filipinos have climbed by nearly 40% in the last few years. Authorities say that while most travelers respect the rules, the small group who don't are creating a big policy headache. Vietnam is considering ending the visa-free policy for the Philippines entirely. Instead, Filipino travelers would need to apply for a visa in advance with proof of income, booked accommodations, and confirmed return flights. That means no more last-minute trips to Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City. The impact for travelers: for food lovers chasing the perfect bowl of FA or backpackers exploring Ha Long Bay. This adds cost, time, and uncertainty. Tour operators worry it will slow the steady flow of Filipino tourists. But Vietnamese officials argue they must protect the integrity of immigration laws, even if it means losing some visitors. Some in Vietnam's tourism sector say it's the wrong move, warning it could hurt the economy and damage ties with the Philippines. Others say it's a necessary step to stop rule breakers and keep border control strong. Filipinos still flock to Vietnam's bustling streets and golden beaches if it means more paperwork and planning. Or will this be the end of one of Southeast Asia's easiest travel friendships?
And now we reach number 1.
This last country's decision could feel like a gut punch because it's not just a popular destination. It's also a key stepping stone for Filipinos heading deeper into Europe. You'll want to hear this.
Number 1, Serbia.
And here's where the countdown hits its most strategic point. Serbia, a quiet European gem with medieval towns, rolling hills, and warm hospitality, has been a hidden favorite for Filipinos.
No visa, no long lines.
But in 2025, that open door could slam shut. Why is Serbia making this move? It's not because Filipino tourists are flooding the streets of Belgrade. It's because Serbia has become an unintentional backdoor into the rest of Europe. Filipinos can enter Serbia visa-free. And from there, some attempt to cross into the Schengen zone illegally through countries like Hungary or Croatia. For Serbian border authorities, that's a red flag they can't ignore. The numbers tell the story. European border agencies have reported a steady rise in irregular crossings from Serbia. And while not all involve Filipinos, the pattern is there. Over the past few years, detections along the so-called Balkan route have surged by more than 60%. What will change in 2025? Serbia is preparing to require visas for all Filipino travelers. That means online applications, embassy visits, proof of funds, hotel bookings, and return tickets. The easy weekend hop to Europe via Belgrade will vanish. For Filipinos hoping to see Europe on a budget, Serbia has been a vital first stop. It offered a taste of the continent without the heavy Schengen visa process. Losing that option will make European travel more expensive, more complicated, and far less spontaneous. Some in Serbia's tourism sector fear a sharp drop in visitors from outside Europe, including the Philippines. Critics argue that the majority of travelers are being punished for the actions of a few. Supporters insist Serbia must protect its EU relationships and close loopholes that fuel illegal migration.
So, here's the question.
Will Serbia's charm still be enough to make Filipinos go through the extra visa hoops? Or will it disappear from Filipino travel plans altogether? And with that, we close this list. From South Africa to Serbia, the message is clear. Visa-free travel is never guaranteed. And for Filipinos in 2025, the world map could feel a lot smaller than it does today. Before you click away, I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 countries surprised you the most? And if the visa changes really happen in 2025, will you still visit them or start looking for new destinations instead? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button so more Kababayan can see it. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, because in my next video, we'll talk about the countries that are actually making it easier for Filipinos to travel. You won't want to miss.